Do 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 do. Uh, 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 uh. Revenge, revenge, revenge.
And also a football player.
Be afraid. We're coming to get you. Coming to get you.
Virtual dining concepts.
Ooh, ooh, Oh, I want your money, bitch. I got nowhere to duck to. You can't see me. You
Yeah,
can't see
just
me.
stay there. Just yeah. Yep. Hello and welcome to Nobody Asked, the show, the podcast, the news conglomerate. Today we are joined by Maria. Whoa.
Hello.
Oh, that's that one. And also we are joined by Colin.
We can't see you.
Oh, it's me. Today we're doing another one of those news roundups where we both get a bunch of stories and we're going to break them down in 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to talk about them, give you a lowdown, tell you about what's going on in the world. Because, man, high concept is just a lot of work right now. And
it is. This is easier.
I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I feel like it's very clear who talks on what part because it's the story that we brought. So, it's easy, it's consumable, it's bite-sized, just like today's sponsor, pizza rolls. Yum. I do like a pizza roll. Have you ever had a pizza?
Yes.
Perfect. So now imagine that the dough was like a crispy little chip, but soft because microwave, right? But crisp, and then you rolled up and you made this little pocket of pizza. And you were like, let's call it a pizza pocket. No, let's call it a pizza roll. And then you had a bunch of them. And you were like, yum. 5 of these is the equivalent of one. We're doing the same ad that we did last week, but with a different pizza-based snack. Thank you, everybody. Buy pizza rolls.
Okay, I like it. It's good stuff.
What's been going on in your life, Ma?
Well, your dad was out of town this week, and while he was away, he decided to buy a new Jeep, a hybrid Jeep. So he's pretty excited about that, a plug-in hybrid.
Jeep.
Yeah. So
I look like I would buy a hybrid Jeep right now.
You think so? I think your skin looks like flawless right now. The lighting is gorgeous.
I've been moisturizing. I've been using an exfoliator. I got one of those packages that are like, what is it called? Not Harry's. It's one of these like
Manscaped
skincare for men. No, but it was like a skincare for men package that is like, we know you're a big dumb brute that doesn't know what salicylic acid is, but we'll just put numbers on these bottles and we'll put on it if your face should be wet when you put it on or if your face should be dry. And you just go through those numbers in order. And I go, okay. And I did it. And now my face looking pretty immaculate. So very good. I need to do more sunscreen is what I've been told. So sunscreen will be incorporated. When I went to the beach, I put on sunscreen. Your husband bought a hybrid Jeep.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of awesome. I would have always assumed that I would have gotten an electric vehicle before he did, but nope. Because he's always about, he's always like power. He still likes, big tires and loud engines. So the fact that he got a hybrid is kind of a big deal.
Well, because now electric vehicles have caught up and surpassed gas vehicles in terms of power. It makes perfect sense, right? I mean, a Tesla rips. So I get it. I think they look super fun. And he can charge it at the electric charging station that I funded with Biden's grant money. Thanks, Biden. So
I mean, that is part of his big initiative right now. His part of the Inflation Reduction Act did include a lot of stuff for green related things.
Yep.
So yeah, we definitely are making some good rebates.
It's a good time to be a grant writer, let me tell you, because there is so much grant funding from that infrastructure bill, and it's just 10 years of so many grants that are out there, and there's not enough people to apply for them. So all we do is we find these grants, and we're like, who would be a good candidate? And then we just email them and be like, oh, can we write the grant for you? And then business. So it's booming.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
then
cool.
we get people stuff. The problem is that we can't charge like a commission on the grants. And so the organizations we work with need to have the upfront money to pay us for the grants. We can't just be like, oh, you're a really good candidate because you have no money. It doesn't work. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you to Ashley, and thank you to Dobby Ween. Is Dobby Ween new? Or is it like somebody changed
I
their
think
name?
she's in the background a lot, but no, I do know Dobby. So
Shout out Dobby.
Oh, we need to shout out Barbie too. She got a brand new puppy. So,
Ooh.
should ask her about it. He looks super cute. Super cute.
Sweet.
Go ahead.
Has anything else happened in your life?
Well, while your dad was away, I was building a mantle for my sister, Aunt Marlene. I put in a beautiful cedar mantle on her, over her fireplace. We ripped out the old one because it was too much. It was too big. And I built a cedar one, and it was just fun. It was fun to, to do something from beginning to end, to get it finished, to have it look gorgeous. So
I think that looks so cool. I would love for you to come here and make all of our, look at this, make it look nice, make our apartment look nice. That would be cool, but you need to bring your whole shop to New York.
Exactly. I had so much stuff jammed into my Mazda 3. So many things.
Yeah. Shipping it probably isn't feasible either. So
no.
Cool. Well, last week, guys, I told you that I went on a little beach vacay with some friends, and I had an absolute blast. Something I didn't mention because I didn't think it would be pertinent, but it is now, was that I had a hangnail on my big toe that I pulled off, and it was like, oh, this is a problem now, right? And that happened during the trip to the Long Island Sound, right? But not to let myself not have fun, I still went swimming with that open wound. And then, wouldn't you know it, what comes up on my timeline but this? 3 people die from flesh-eating bacteria infections in New York and Connecticut, prompting new guidance. So remember when I was talking about the water being warm up there? Well, it turns out it was so warm that it was able to cultivate flesh-eating bacteria that if you get it 1 in 5 times, you die. So if you were swimming in the Long Island Sound when the water was warm in the Long Island Sound with an open wound, you might have flesh-eating bacteria. So I got that notification and was like, uh-oh, that's everything that I did. Very cool. But turns out the incubation period is 72 hours. So we're chilling, I think.
So you don't have a big swollen big toe right now, full of pus.
I have a very mildly swollen big toe right now. But that when you contract this, you have a fever in like 12 hours usually. So I didn't have that. Huge win. But just a little brush with death at the beach.
It's funny because I just heard today that they now have cases of dengue fever in Florida. So, if you didn't need more proof that Florida is a third world country, they now have dengue fever. Yep.
So yeah, that was cool. I'll get this out.
And leprosy. Now. Don't forget leprosy. They have leprosy there.
Leprosy. We all love it. My friends from college visited this weekend. So I've had 2 pretty happening weekends in a row. We saw a Mets game. The Mets got absolutely clobbered by the Braves, 7-0. We went to a wonderful little Jewish spot for lunch. It was so delicious, but they didn't have the dipping plate, which was the whole reason that we got a reservation. So it's like, ridiculous. Then we went to Sesh Comedy, which is our favorite comedy club, and it was a fantastic show. We had an absolute blast, a bunch of different characters. That was super fun. And then my friend convinced me to shave down to a mustache. So we're still recovering from that here. And we went to the American Museum of Natural History, and we saw the Gigantosaur. And let me tell you, aptly named. It's pretty big. So it was, the whole skeleton was in multiple enormous rooms because the tail was so long. So pretty fun. And there were all these kids around, and they were running around having an absolute blast at the museum. We had dinosaurs, and they were real dinosaurs. And I was like, man, life is beautiful. This is good stuff. You got to touch a real dinosaur egg, and like I did it, but then another kid was like, I got to touch it. And I was like, wait your turn. But he already stuck it.
Wait your turn.
Dude, so much adorableness going on. I was absolutely infected with the cuteness. I bought Michael a stuffed dinosaur because that's the kind of friends we are. Stuffed dinosaurs. And then we went and got pizza, and then we had dinner on a boat. So, yeah, we're doing pretty good.
That sounds like you had a pretty good week, man. Sounds pretty awesome.
Man, great week. Work is going pretty darn well. We just got a bunch of grant funding in Tennessee, like a bunch. And so that client is going to be happy with us for at least another 2 weeks. So, yeah, man, all is well. I've got a little bit of a headache, and life is good.
Oh, I'm sorry about your headache.
I had a salad for lunch. Let me just tell you everything.
What time did you have your bowel movements today? No, I don't want to know that.
I can tell you. I woke up with a tummy ache, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And then it was gone. So, comedy. All right. What's the news today, Mom?
Well, I guess we could start with this young lady. I say young lady. She's younger than me, but not by much. She's 43 years old. She's from Texas. Her name is Abigail Jo Schrei. And, she seemed pretty mad at the old judge in Washington, D.C. that decided to indict Donald Trump.
Yeah.
She's like,
judge.
She called that judge to her office. She called her little judge's office and left her a very nasty voicemail. And let's see. Oh, hold on. Let me share my screen here. Sorry, I'm no good at sharing screens. Can I just share window? I don't know what any of that means.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is her. Beautiful lady.
We do not have your screen on the screen.
What? You don't?
Have the screen on the screen.
Oh, no, you don't. Let's try that again. Thought I was sharing it. Share. How do I select a screen?
Oh, I forgot to tell Barbie that we have already talked about your dog. Hi, Barbie. Hey!
Oh, there we go. Okay. Can you see it?
Wow.
What do you see?
Bad as hell.
She's 43, and again, she's super mad. Oh wait, let's go over here to this one. So this is the actual indictment, which is an actually very easy read. Let's see. It occurred last Wednesday, and look, what's great is in this indictment they put her phone number in here like 3 or 4 times. We could all call her if we wanted to, but of course we're not that kind of person. So on August 5th at 7:51 p.m., a call was received in the chambers of District Judge Tanya Chutkan, or however you say that. Let's see. In which case the caller's introduction stated, "Hey, you stupid slave." I'm not going to say that word. After which the caller threatened to kill anyone who went after former President Trump, including a direct threat to kill Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. She's from Texas. All Democrats in Washington, D.C., and all people in the LGBTQ community. The caller further stated, "You are in our sights. We We want to kill you. And we want to kill Sheila Jackson Lee. If Trump doesn't get elected in 2024, we're coming to kill you. So tread lightly, bitch. The caller continued with their threat, stating, "You'll be targeted personally, publicly, your family, all of it." So they're going after families. Let's go after everybody. Great. Let's just get everyone. Let's see. And then they look, her phone number came right up. They knew exactly who it was. Okay. So then they go to her house. Wait, is that in this part? Yeah. So they go to her house a couple of days later. They knock and they say, is this your phone number? And she's like, yeah, it's my phone number. And did you call? And she's like, yeah, I called. But she's like, I have no intention of going to Washington, D.C. or Houston to carry out anything. However, if Sheila Jackson Lee comes to my town, then we need to worry. And so, because of that, she is now in jail because she's made threats. And look, she affirmed the threat a second time when confronted about it. And they thought, this is just going to be safer for the public if we just put her in jail right now.
Nice.
Like, what kind of, I don't know, man. What's got to be going on in your brain to think that that's a thing you should do? To think, I'm going to go through the trouble of finding out this judge's phone number. I'm going to call her and I'm going to say some extremely nasty things. And I'm going to make threats. And then I'm going to threaten just everybody. And then basically, we're coming for you. She's saying it as if she's not a single person, if she is an entity or a group of people.
Yep.
Like, what are you afraid of that you think you have to push up against this judge who just, who's just doing her job?
I mean, that they're living in a world where they think that their savior and the person that was going to end all corruption is actually possibly losing in the war, and that our government is doing to them what a Russian government would do to a dissident, or what, that all of these different indictments are phony baloney, and they are meant to take down their Jesus. And it's like, this is such a big deal to the people that are truly in the religion of Trump. And so, yeah, they're like, they're full of vigilante mode. The other thing here is that people don't know what the law is. And they're like, I'm not actually going to do it. I'm just making threats. This is a free country. You can't get imprisoned for threats. It's like, yeah,
you though?
I think you've misread the situation. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If there's any amount of believability to it, which suddenly happens when you say, if she comes here, then yeah. If she comes to my town of Elvin, Texas, then yeah, you need to worry. Yeah, yep. And it's a government official. It's just not a normal, I disagree with what you're doing kind of thing. That was a very disgusting threat.
Yep. And
it's interesting the level of that people will go to in retaliation for their king being, shat upon in some way, that they will go to any levels to retaliate for him. It's utterly bizarre. And honestly, all of my stories today have a little bit of retaliation going on from somewhere, which is a little bit weird and interesting.
So do mine.
Really? It's like, This is an interesting world that we live in, where everybody is just obsessed with retaliating for things that are just weird. It's not like fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
It's not fuck around and find out. It's how dare you? It's just weird. It's weird stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's in their world, Trump couldn't have done all of the things he's accused of. Even, one, they're probably not looking at what the indictments are actually for, because no one looks at anything ever. It's hilarious. So that in their world,
I just showed you an indictment.
Yeah, we're not people, Mom. We are people on a screen.
Right? Admittedly, the Trump indictments are like, they're a lot. There's this lawyer on TikTok who reads them all off with a little highlighter, who I love. But yeah, I can't sit and watch all of it. It's a lot. Like, okay, let me read 45 pages of indictment.
Yeah, it's like unless it's your job, you're not going that deep, or it's for your genre-defining podcast. Those are the situations where people
absolutely.
So yeah, this is like a government vendetta against an individual who exposed their corruption and their child philandering. It is interesting did you see that new song that has gone viral in the last like 7 or 8 days in conservative circles?
I heard something about it, but I have a
Richmond, north of Richmond.
Oh, I heard about it today, but I didn't listen to it. I don't really know what the big whoop is. I'm just like, I roll really about anything related to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's pretty catchy, and it's one of those like live performance videos where he stood in the woods and he's playing the guitar in real time, and he's singing with a lot of soul. Ooh. And he's singing about things that feel very real to people right now, like losing jobs and the government not caring about you, and some of the things he complains about, you're like, where the fuck is this? Like it's not the usual suspects for what you'd expect a Republican to be complaining about, or for the things that get an eyebrow raised, like, oh, these welfare queens. It wasn't that. It was a new one. And you're like, okay.
I thought they did say welfare queens in it, though.
Oh, no. This is the problem, is you haven't seen it, right?
I haven't seen it.
You're not reading it, and you just see like, oh, I roll at this fucking Republican thing. No. He says that there are families in this country that don't have shit to eat, while there's people milking welfare that are fucking obese, or like while the obese milk welfare. That was so it becomes this obese thing, and he's like, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, then my tax dollars shouldn't pay for your fudge rounds, is in it. And I'm like, yo, who's this new group? Like, that we're talking shit. Like, the enemy of Americans are politicians in D.C. and fat people.
Honestly, there are a lot of people that hate people that are overweight. It's not just like they say it's fat phobia, but it's not fat phobia. It's hate. They hate it. They look at it and they think, apparently that you're on welfare, you're taking from everybody, and that's why you're big. And it's like, listen, weight's complicated, man.
All I'm saying is that the singer is not skinny. He's not fit. He's like normal man dad bod. Like, I mean, he's like 30. He looks like a very normal guy with a little bit of a round tum, and so you're a little bit like, okay, I don't know what's going on there with the hating fat people. Maybe, somebody's got dysmorphia issues or something. I don't know, but
everybody does.
About that. Like. The other line that I thought was interesting is, I wish our politicians would care about minors more than some minors on an island somewhere. So obviously Jeffrey Epstein called out, right? Like,
okay, but does he mean minors, like caring about minors like that under the ground?
Yes, he's talking about the people in in West Virginia that have lost their jobs.
Yeah, who need to start doing something else. Get out from under the ground. There's so many programs that have been out there over the years for minors to educate them into doing something different. But some of them hold on to mining as if it's a culture.
There are so many electricians that are needed and plumbers that are needed. Yeah. There is so much blue collar work that we cannot automate. You guys are going to be rich like miners in that one era, right? If you just go to school to be an electrician, you will make 6 figures easy, okay? If you go to school to become an electrician and then you do your apprenticeship and you do your whole thing and you start your own business, easy 200,000. I mean, it's a joke. So please.
And the number of people that are minors is really a very small population of people. It's just that it's a whole culture,
It's a culture, and then that it's like it's the beck and call for all of these cities that have been left behind by different industries. Like it all gets boiled down to miners, but I think that when you hear it, you think about Detroit with the auto manufacturing industry, and you think about the steel industry in Pittsburgh, and you think about these cities and non-cities that were defined by
an industry.
By an industry, and then that industry left or got phased out, and all those people were left there, and these cities, without exception, devolve into opium dens. Like the whole thing, everyone's addicted to fentanyl and heroin. I mean, we saw it in Montana. That I don't know what the fuck Anaconda, Montana does, but that was a depressing ass place in that city. That was that.
I don't know. It had cute parts.
Oh, it had cute parts because of the remnants of the industry that was there. But if you went in that grocery store, everyone was on heroin, and I was like, God damn, this is sad. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how people just won't. It's interesting people just will not let go of a dying industry. When industries die all the time, there's plenty of jobs that existed 100 years ago that don't exist anymore. But you have to be willing to change, and people won't change. And I think it's just the same reason why they love Trump so much. They're telling him, you don't have to change. The good old days were the best days. And it's like, no, it fucking weren't.
Yeah. And it's like, it is also hard to sound anti-blue collar worker here, but there are certain societal changes that need to take place in order to maintain the quality of living for our progeny here. And when you see like the auto workers union being vehemently anti-electric car because they're so much easier to manufacture, and so they see the writing on the wall that more jobs will be lost in the auto manufacturing industry, it's like, yeah, man, we're going electric. Like
we need to. There's bigger stuff at play.
Yeah. So same thing with coal. But the thing is, there's a whole energy industry, and we're pumping money back into the energy industry in order to switch everything over to a new form of energy. And you don't think there are jobs. There are dumb jobs in energy right now, and they have training programs. So, like, wherever the bottleneck is, I hope that the bottleneck isn't just, I don't want to move from this garbage-ass town, right? Or, like, I don't want to do anything other than get black lung and die. Like, what is the bottleneck? Is it that people don't know about programs? Is it that people are tied down to their regions because they're taking care of family members? What is stopping people from moving from one blue collar industry to another one when the economic opportunities are so great? That's the real question here. And
they can't see it. Yeah, you have to have enough money to even, buy yourself a McDonald's, $3.49 bundle to even consider the idea that you might have the ability to go somewhere else. I think people feel trapped. They are that poor that they are trapped. And it's just a cycle of just self-fulfilling misery. It's very depressing. Yeah. Anyway, do you have a different story for us?
Yes. Yes. Speaking of people who were theoretically given the access to tools to drag themselves out of homelessness and poverty, Michael Oher, I don't know, a previous lineman for the Baltimore Ravens, better known for The Blind Side, the movie The Blind Side, is suing. Was that?
I said, I just said, okay. I was just saying, I know who it is now. Okay.
Michael is suing his adoptive parents that are kind of not his adoptive parents, but are, the parents from the movie. He's suing them for a conservatorship, which he says that he was tricked into at the age of 18, which his adoptive parents have been profiting off of. And he cites specifically the Blind Side movie. and the fact that he saw no money from the Blind Side movie, despite the fact that there were millions of dollars out there and that it grossed $301 million at the box office. The story of his own life, he reaped no profits from. And so he is suing his adoptive parents, who never actually adopted him because he was 18 at the time that they could have. In his memoir, he talks about being brought into the conservatorship and it being talked about as like for happening for two reasons. One, to establish a familial tie between them in perpetuity, and also because of concerns that the NCAA would investigate Michael going to Mississippi State when the two parents are backers of Mississippi State. Sorry, I can't read and talk. So this is essentially the accusation here, is that money was made off of him and his likeness, and there was even money that was given to the family, which was dispersed not only among the parents but among the biological children as well. But then he didn't get any. So, which is what Barbie is saying here.
Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
It's pretty messed up.
I guess, did he sign contracts when those movies were made with regard to that? And there's a lot of questions for me.
So there are a bunch of questions, which I'm glad that you've gone the questions angle and not the immediate outrage angle. I will say, when his memoir came out, people sort of flagged this part where he was talking about the conservatorship, being like, this is weird, because it doesn't really establish a familial tie in the way, like, and what Michael said that he was being told was not right. But in the memoir, he was talking about it as like, the family went to the courtroom, and when he signed the document in front of the judge, everyone hugged, and it was this tearful affair where he was like finally truly a part of the family. His like biological mom was there and advocated for it. It was a whole to do. So this is the accusation here. And the first thing that I saw after this came out was a response from Michael Lewis. So we're dealing with two Michaels.
Okay.
Michael O'Hare, I don't know, is the subject of The Blind Side, the football player. Michael Lewis is the writer of Moneyball and of The Blind Side, the writer of the book that the movie was based on.
Okay.
So author Michael Lewis says only Hollywood cashed in on Blind Side success. So he's weighing in specifically on the accusation that no one got any money from, or that Michael got no money from The Blind Side. And Michael Lewis is saying, yeah, dude, you're preaching to the choir. No one made any money off of this $301 million box office hit, because we all sold the rights to it, and then the rights got passed around, and there was a royalty agreement, but the total amount of money that was given to Michael Lewis, the author, was in the realm of $300,000, which in comparison to a $300 million movie is not massive. No. And the family was also given around $300 million. Or not $300 million, $300,000.
Okay.
No. Was given around $300,000. And another element of it, I don't know if this is according to Michael Lewis or according to the lawsuit, another element of it was that there was actually a royalty that was earmarked for Michael O'Hare, and his management group denied the royalty, and so it went to his next of kin, which were his parents. And so there is more here, it seems, than is to be seen. But something that's important here is that it was then given to him, and then according to the response to the lawsuit from his parents, they have documentation of them trying to get the royalty back to Michael and being denied and being told to keep it. and then they just disperse it among their family, and now it's being turned into some whole to do about like, well, you gave it to your biological kids but not your adoptive kid, and it's like we just divided it evenly because that's what seemed right at the time. So suddenly, complexities. An additional complexity that I thought was interesting but might not, absolve the parents to everybody in the way that it changes my opinion, is that these parents are already absorbently rich. These parents are the neighbors to the CEO of FedEx. They are 300 millionaire-ish, which is to say that $300,000, or actually Michael Oher's amount, like $80,000, is nothing to them. It's really nothing. And when you grow up not rich, you get told things like the only way you get rich is by caring about, an $18 burger versus a $20 one or something. The only way you get rich is by penny pinching. No, that's not how people get rich. It's not at all how people get rich. It's actually hilarious. These people do not care about $75,000. It is hilarious how much that myth gets spread around.
What's the $75,000? Is that what he's asking for? I don't understand.
It was a royalty. Well, he's asking to get out of the conservatorship, and then the lawsuit is trying to subpoena a bunch of financial documents from the conservatorship in order to determine how much money was taken from him, and then he's asking for that money back.
Completely fair. I think he absolutely needs to do that. So
I think it is fair. Now, one question that's going to be brought up is, if family is not treating family like family, how much money did these people spend on Michael? And it seems to be in the millions of dollars that was spent on Michael and getting him into places and getting good advisors around him and whatnot. So that'll be a question. But you read the response, and knowing that this is written by lawyers, and so it means nothing, the response is kind of heartbreaking because they're like, it is essentially like, we thought we were family. We've been trying to stay in contact for years, but after you became NFL rich, you got out of the picture. We tried to give you this money and there's no responses. But before then, we had thought of you as family. And then you reached out in the recent years, shaking us down for $15 million and accusing us and saying that you could come out and accuse us of all sorts of different things and asking for $15 million to keep your mouth shut type of energy. And now you've sued us, and we are going to have to do something to protect our family's good name after, we gave the world to you type of thing. So there are complexities. I don't think I come out on either side right now. I think I come out on what the hell is going on over here? But people have reacted so strongly. People have reacted to the dramatization of The Blind Side as what the parents claimed happened. So in The Blind Side, he's homeless and he's never played football before. And these angel-like white people come in and help him discover his physical talents and football. In the real world, he was already playing football, but he was also homeless and needed help. And this family provided that help. But he was playing football already, but people latched onto that and they're like, they didn't show him football. And now the parents are like, we didn't say we did. That was the movie. We didn't write the movie. Movie.
They didn't write the book either, to be fair.
But the book was much more real.
Right.
The movie was, a dramatization with Sandra Bullock.
Exactly.
And then, dude, yeah. Barbie knew what I was going to talk about next. Then a huge call by a bunch of fucking morons for Sandra Bullock to give her Oscar back. Shut up, dude. Whoa. You know what I just realized? Oppenheimer made a nuke that killed a bunch of people. Hey, whatever that actor's name was that played Oppenheimer in the movie, give your Oscar back because you played a bad person. Even if all of the accusations against these parents were bad, what the fuck does Sandra Bullock have to do with it? The movie was good. The movie was fine. Sandra Bullock is an actress and was given an award for acting.
Yes.
You're all dumb. So, like, I mean, Sandra Bullock, give your Oscar. You have to apologize for this movie you took part in 2008. Shut up. Why? I mean, give me a break. I hope that this lawsuit settles things.
Yes.
It would be great if there was a discovery made that somebody that's new in Michael Oher's life is in his ear giving him bad advice. And when all is out on the table, Michael discovers that someone new in his life has been leading him astray. And actually, this whole situation was fine. And everyone is fine again. That's the dream scenario. I bet there was probably some fuckery. I hope everyone is whole after this. But it is not my goddamn business. Sandra Bullock gets to keep her Oscar.
Yes,
the jury's
absolutely.
Done. Keep your Oscar, Sandra. You did a good job.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would. I think that it all should go forward because Michael Oher needs to know the truth. He needs to know what money came in and what was supposed to come to him and didn't, if that was the case. He needs to know the answers to that. And I think it's perfectly fair. And if he doesn't want to be part of the conservatorship anymore, he should be allowed to not be a part of it. I hate conservatorships. So
yeah, I mean, theoretically, I agree. I think a little bit of Britney Spears conservatorship, you're like, you know, everyone's like, free Britney. And it seems like maybe Britney should have been freed. But then afterwards, everyone's like, Britney is definitely still crazy though. So
sure, but lots of people are crazy, and they get to control their own circumstances. So,
but should they at a certain level?
I mean, so. Yeah, I think that Britney is allowed to spin around in circles all day long if she wants to. You know what I mean? Yeah, but let's. There is news for Britney today. You know. Allegedly, her husband, Sam...
This is the next news story.
It is. Sam Asghari allegedly has filed for divorce. Nobody has seen divorce papers in the same way nobody's ever seen an actual wedding certificate for them. But that is the news, that they have been on rocky ground for a while. You know, they've been married for like 14 months, so it's not very long. They've been together for 7 years. But yeah, now things... Honestly, to me, I follow both of them on Instagram. He's been filming a TV show. I think it's called Lioness or something. And so he's been away a lot more. And, you know, he seems very much about himself and putting on a facade at all times. And it's very strange to me. I don't like it. But I mean, obviously, when you're living apart like that, when one of you is off focused on their career, a career that many might think, you know, has benefited from being Britney Spears' husband, I would think, you know, that's going to put a strain on a relationship. Allegedly, they keep calling it a nuclear blow up about Britney allegedly having an affair of some sort, which is a bit hard to believe since it looks like she never leaves the house, really. So I'm assuming she does leave the house since she had a little altercation in Vegas with that basketball star.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did we ever talk about that?
I don't know. Did we?
Holy. I was like, dude, all right, I got to stop listening to anything Britney says for the rest of time. Because when that video came out, it was like, why are you doing my man Wembanyama like this? Well,
it seemed like both of them were right on parts of it, you know, like she did tap him on the shoulder or something. And then, yeah, but it was weird. And she was saying, I guess she was saying, hello, in a British accent.
Dude, the way she talked about it, you would have thought that one of the bodyguards went Super Saiyan. Okay. Right. That was not what happened in that video. And also she totally did go through the bodyguards to be like,
she did.
You have bodyguards, Britney. You know how this shit works. And then she turned into this whole like, I am speaking for the people. Bodyguards have had it too good for too long.
See, I've never heard her actually say anything about it. I've heard people say this is what she said, but
well, we can read her statement if we want, but we're getting off topic. But
yeah.
Her statement was a little bit like, I didn't want this attention, but now this has become bigger than me, and I am like the.
I have to comment.
Yeah. But it was about this larger problem, and it was like, and the thing is that there have been so many, especially in New York, because you see bodyguards like they do act with fucking impunity, and you're like, what? Who gave you this right? They'll like hold up traffic for rich people and be like, you can't turn right now, and the light's green. It's like, you're not a fucking police officer. Get out! I'm gonna run you over. Like, so.
Yeah. So obviously she must leave the house occasionally. It's just, it's really hard to tell because people believe that she's still under some level of conservatorship. It might not be the same as it was, but I think that her dad still does have some level of control over her money. But she's got a lot more freedom of movement, allegedly. But if you're like a diehard Britney person, everybody's always questioning who's writing her social media posts. Is it really her? Is it somebody else? People question whether we're even looking at Britney Spears or it's a deep fake. You know what I mean? Like, people go down some crazy rabbit holes. But one of the other allegations is that her husband, Sam, is trying to get the prenup renegotiated because he wants more money, right? And if she doesn't renegotiate the prenup, then he's going to release some sort of devastating information or a video about her. And it's kind of like, we've seen Britney be nuts. Like, what would surprise us, really? I guess if she wore a diaper, that and I don't know, and like to spin around on a stripper pole in a dirty diaper, that would be startling. But like, what, her being we all know she's got some level of mental illness, and that sometimes she's in some sort of a manic state, and she probably does what people do in manic states. I just don't know what we think is going to surprise us or shock us in such a way that it feels like he's trying to extort her, allegedly, to change this prenup when they've been married for 14 months. To me, he's entitled to nothing. That's a very short marriage. Yeah. I don't know, man. But she's buying a horse, so that's what she posted in response to everything. I'm buying a horse. And you see her on a horse, and she's deciding between two horses. Yeah.
Makes you think, like, so many people have a desire to be famous. And it is, it totally makes sense. But then you look at famous people's lives, and it's like they just attract the grifters everywhere. Yeah. And just people with no shame. And it must destroy your sense of humanity to be around people that treat other people like chess pieces and like things to be taken advantage of. And that's just what the entertainment industry is. And it's just so depressing that like certain forms of art, you've just like, oh, that's the reality of this kind of art, is that you have to be constantly surrounded by the worst people on earth, right? Yeah. You want to be a famous musician, or, you want to be a great musician, and greatness is akin to fame in this art form. Sorry. You're around the worst people ever, right? You want to be a great comedian, actor, writer. Well, unless you're writing like, I don't know, erotica, it's like, it's a nightmare no matter what.
Yes. Yeah. If you just want to sit and talk about 90 Day Fiance on YouTube, for some reason, you're going to be surrounded by crazy people. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit more of a powder keg of animosity and terror, but I'm with you.
It's so weird, though. It's weird, like you thought you were doing something fun, and it just brings all the cuckoos out.
I can speak to it from comedy, right? It's like, it's just like it's like a bunch of starving rats that you've put like one piece of cheese in the middle of, and that they can all act normal until there's just a glimmer of hope that they can get to the next level. And then they're nightmare people that are talking shit about each other and are trying to tear each other down and are giving Colin a death stare at an open mic. And it's like, just laugh. I'm funny. Like, give me a break. I don't know. There's lots of nice people, but God, there are nightmare people. And you're like, what are you even getting from this? This is depressing. But it's just like that something was broken earlier in their life and they just need this attention. And they do it, but oh my God.
They do. I can't be around the nastiness. It's too hard. It's not what I want for myself. So I just hang out with you now. We just have a few people watching and it's lovely because I cannot be in that. Yeah, it's just the spin cycle, endlessly spin cycle of the washing machine. Let me out.
Why don't we have more viewers? Because we are not engaging in the animosity of the whole thing, and we're not trying to pull ourselves up by pulling other people down, or by building animosity.
I don't want to.
I mean, I can get a little mean sometimes, but it's fine. I probably still do want to be a comedian, but
yeah.
What you
I want to do something bigger too. And there'll be a point where, this show may evolve into something else and we do the work and do the networking and all of the extra stuff to make this, something bigger. But I'd rather just keep it nice and safe and lovely and just have a chance to talk about these things that, sometimes you just want to talk about. Yeah. Because people don't like to sometimes, like we live in a world where talking politics and even just events going on in the world can feel so polarizing and like you're going to lose a friendship over just having this discussion, right? Yeah. But you still want to talk about it. You're like, well, how do you feel about this very weird situation? What do you think's going on here? And it's just nice to have somebody to talk to about that. So,
absolutely.
So that was Britney Spears. Let her buy a horse and twirl around, and I hope that she gets what she wants and finds something that really will make her happy, because I really do think that her husband is an empty vessel.
And speaking of empty vessel grifters who are, taking advantage of influencers, in my opinion, have you guys heard of Mr. Beast Burger?
No, well, I haven't.
Okay, let me.
Barbie seems to know everything.
Let's go, dude. All right. Mr. Beast Burger. You'll be familiar with this concept if you order on the apps often at all, but I can actually bring it up right now. So have you heard of ghost kitchens, Mom?
Yes, I have heard of ghost kitchens.
Perfect.
So is that like, okay, so like you think you're ordering a chicken sandwich from some local business, but really you're getting it from Red Robin. Red Robin has 5 different fake businesses selling chicken sandwiches.
It could be Red Robin, right? And that's one version of it, is these ghost kitchens but essentially what's happened is that people realized that the way that the algorithms work on these delivery systems is that that really what you want is just a bunch of different spaces, right? Like that they all come up as these different rectangles. You just want a lot of those because you want to occupy a lot of space on the app. And so if you are one restaurant that offers multiple different types of cuisine, and when we say types of cuisine, we're breaking it down way far. Red Robin, great example, where it's like one type of cuisine is burgers and the other type of cuisine is chicken sandwiches and salads, right? Well, if you want to occupy a bunch of spaces, what you're going to do is you're going to create a digital storefront for Red Robin, but then also for each of your cuisines with a different name that maybe is like Red Burgers, and if you're just some unknowing consumer, you're going to go through this and be like, oh, I haven't tried that. That looks delicious. That picture's great. Let's try it out just once. But what you don't realize is that 6 of them are from Red Robin. That's one type of ghost kitchen.
Okay.
I'm going to be talking about a third type. I'll talk about the second first. The second type is a virtual ghost kitchen that'll be set up either in a trailer or in an unmarked storefront. And when you're a delivery driver, you'll go into these places and they'll be like under an apartment building. And you go in and it's a long hallway with all of these cubbies with numbers. And you'll just get a little thing on your phone that says cubby 3. And you show your little code and you can pick up your delivery order. Inside this storefront, behind it, there is a kitchen that is making like 15 different menus. So we're talking sushi, we're talking burritos, we're talking general Mexican food, we're talking burgers, all the like different types of basic food.
Okay.
They'll have 15 different menus that they serve out of this one location. And then they will also, for each of those menus, have 3 different restaurants set up on the app. So there could be 45 different spaces on your app here that are all one location. Now, New York has regulated this a little bit. You have to put the address.
Okay.
I
can't see it, but I believe you.
Well, you have to put the address after. So again, if you're a savvy consumer, you'll go 56 West 125th Street. Let me just look it up right now. So this one's called Just Salad, which is not, if you are a small business owner and you really care, not what you're going to name your business, or you deserve for your business to fail. So we're going to go 56 West 125th Street. Okay, not a good example. That was a real place.
It sounded like it would work, though.
It did. I can usually pick these out, but I am struggling right now. Maybe it knows. Maybe it knows that I'm an anti this.
You don't like ghost kitchens?
Well, no, because I don't like that they're grifting on the like small business thing, right? Because it's fun to get on Uber Eats and be like, you know what, I'm going to try some random joint, right? But you want it to be a joint. This is just not what happens. I'm losing my mind. It hurt me because I can always find approximately 1 billion of these, and now it's all actual places. This can't be right.
That's funny.
Okay, like I'm gonna look up breakfast burrito because that'll get it.
Can you get a breakfast burrito all day long in New York City?
Yeah. All right. Daydream Breakfast Burritos is on 351 West 125th. This one I'll get them. This is totally worth it.
Okay. I'm here for it.
All right, great. Do you want to know what's at 351 West 125th Street?
Yes.
A diamond reseller.
What?
Yep. Gem Pawnbrokers is right there. But don't worry, when you show up there, there will certainly be some stairs to a ghost kitchen like this. And you'll go in, and there's 45 different menus at this location. There's 45 different restaurants. There's 15 different menus. They're all terrible and overpriced, but are just trying to get you to shop there once on the idea that you're getting food from a small business. It's infuriating. The third type is influencer ghost kitchens.
Okay.
Like Mr. Beast Burger. Mr. Beast is the largest YouTuber that isn't like a conglomerate, like a news station or like a media organization or something. He's the biggest individual YouTuber out there right now. He does a bunch of crazy videos. And one thing he did a little bit more than a year ago is he said, I'm opening my own restaurant in this innovative new space. So he opened one brick and mortar Mr. Beast Burger, but then he also, he partnered with an organization called Virtual Dining Solutions. And what they did is they created a Mr. Beast Burger menu. And then if you were a kitchen, like say that I have a deli that's on the corner right here.
Okay.
They could sign up to be listed as a delivery location for Mr. Beast Burgers. they would get sent all of the merchandise to make Mr. Beast burgers. And then when an order comes through for Mr. Beast burger, they make it and they give the delivery out. Theoretically here, this could be a way to access a fun menu. And if you look at the Mr. Beast burger menu, they're kind of crazy. Like they're super out there, enormous burgers. They're loaded fries with pickles on them. And like, they look delicious. And they were delicious at the brick and mortar store. The problem is there was no quality control at all in this whole thing. All they cared about was increasing the number of locations so they could profit off of the name Mr. Beast and get people to buy one time. Because this is not a return customer model. This is, oh my gosh, my favorite YouTuber has a burger chain. I'm going to try it out. Uh-oh, the burger's literally raw. That happened. There were places that had signed up and had never received merchandise from Mr. Beast Burger, but we're still taking orders and we're just sending like generic burgers, like from Walmart. So you were paying for, a Big Mac, and you were literally just getting a burger someone made terribly. There were ones set up in people's actual apartments. There were ones set up in storefronts that had not received like an inspection for a restaurant. They had that worked some workarounds. There's no cleaning for it. And there was no quality control the whole way through. And people got mad about this. It took a little while, but as people tried it, the quality was consistently terrible. I ordered from there one time. I think 5 months ago, and it was inedible. And the thing was, I knew it was a ghost kitchen. I knew the model, right? I knew the deli that made it, and that deli rules. So I was like, it's going to be good. No, it was absolutely disgusting what they sent to me, and I spent probably $30 on it. Whoops. So, so people are slowly getting mad at this massive YouTuber. And one thing that was weird about it was that he put out this huge video, I'm opening a restaurant, and then he didn't tweet about it. He wasn't promoting it at all. But there were over 700 locations around the country that were selling Mr. Beast Burger. It was like beginning to compete with the largest chains in the country. And then we all found out why we weren't hearing about it. And it was because Mr. Beast was setting up to sue.
Wait, he was setting up to sue?
To sue Virtual Dining Concepts. Because when all this came out and he realized that there was no quality control at all, he had no control over whether or not places opened or closed. He had no control over anything to do with the restaurant. And he was under NDA. He couldn't say anything about what was going on. Basically, he had just signed over his name to a restaurant. And then VDC said, hey, we'll handle it. We'll scale it up. All you need to do is see your menu grow. Well, he did see it grow. It's just that there was no quality at all. And so he is suing to get out of this contract with VDC because they will not stop growing and using his name. He's also suing for the damage to his brand because people think, that Mr. Beast is a YouTuber for children, largely. And there are kids that are like excited about Mr. Beast. They saw he opened a restaurant. Oh my gosh, there's one that's like that will deliver to us. Dad, can we please get Mr. Beast Burger tonight? Dad looks at the menu, thinks it looks delicious, orders it, and receives literally raw burgers and feels like he's ruined his kid's day. Now his kids hate Mr. Beast. This is like a real thing that was in the lawsuit, is that there are kids that feel like Mr. Beast made the burgers and tried to steal from their parents. These are kids, that they feel like these kids feel this guilt that they asked their parents to pay for an expensive thing, and then Mr. Beast just stole their parents' money. So he's suing for this this damage to Mr. Beast's brand. And par for the course, just like always happens, what's going on. VDC is suing them right back. VDC says, hey, you little butthole, We told you not to talk shit, and you talk shit. Now we're mad. So VDC
Yeah, I roll.
because what Donaldson said about this lawsuit and what he said about the quality control had the intended effect. Now his fans are no longer buying Mr. Beast burgers, and it's affecting their bottom line. So they're suing for, guess the number, you don't have to, $100 million.
Goodness
What?
gracious.
That's a bunch of money. So basically what they're saying is that in Mr. Beast's complaint, he cites all of these different allegations and tweets about how bad the product was. And their counterclaim is that Mr. Beast had been stoking flames against the organization and that there isn't actually a quality control issue. The issue is that he got into a contract that he doesn't like. And so he told all of his fans to shit talk VDC in order to get out of the contract. And it's working because now all of his fans refuse to buy the product, but there isn't a quality control issue at all. Now, let me tell you, man, if you look at reviews for these burgers, the average review is 2.7 stars. I scrolled earlier when I was doing research for this, I scrolled through Uber Eats for like 10 minutes. I could not find a single restaurant with less than 3 stars. And he had 2.7 stars. I have my own anecdotal experience that it was terrible, and it was terrible from a deli that I trust. It sucks. Here's one more thing. I know I've talked a long time about this. This is my last story. Can we look at Virtual Dining Solutions website?
Sure.
It's going to be so fun.
I mean, to me, the whole thing's, yeah, while you pull it up, to me, it's all very, very interesting to begin with, because like, this could be a really good idea. Like, if he had some control and you were making something to the standard that it was at the brick and mortar, this is a really cool way to do something, to bring it to everybody in an interesting way.
Potentially. It does feel like it feels like celebrity tequila and stuff. It's just like grifting off of a name. And it is just another situation where Uber Eats was a renaissance for small businesses because they were competing toe to toe with large corporations and were able to just put their stuff on there and have it be better. And you don't need to discover it. You can just discover it on the app. And so a bunch of small businesses made a lot of money on these delivery platforms. And this is another situation where massive corporations are gobbling up space, just like, they gobble up that eye-level place in the grocery store and they gobble up important retail space. It's just another time where small businesses were able to make a profit, and now they're being outcompeted by strategies that are seen as unethical. I mean, that this single storefront model is maybe not unethical, but certainly those virtual storefronts that are appearing to be small businesses, they've got a coal-fired oven in the background, and they're called Jimmy Latriglio's Really Good Pizzas. And then it's this faceless entity, this empire that's being built in the last 2 years in shady underground places that don't have to pass health inspections. I don't like it.
No, I mean, obviously there's problems that come up whenever you try something new like this, but I think that there's something interesting there, but let's it's interesting how badly they've done this.
This says moments beyond food delivered. Add a virtual restaurant to your kitchen today. It's easy and profitable. And I want to show you, the brands because, they said our brands right there. These brands are hilarious. You're going to love them. Mr. Beast Burger, stop one. First one. Pardon my cheesesteak from Pardon My Take. Get it? It's a pun. Buddy V's Cake Slice. Like the Cake Boss.
It is like the Cake Boss, yes.
Oh, yeah. Let's look at this. Mariah's Cookies. Mariah Carey signed a contract that she's not going to get anything from. NASCAR Refuel. Those are wings. The Real House Bowls. Oh, yeah. Hey, let's listen to this. Some copywriter had to read this, so let's do it. Add the Real House Bowls to your existing restaurant's kitchen today. Oh, let's go, baby. Restaurateurs. Increase profits daily by utilizing your existing equipment and staff to operate this delivery-only brand. The Real House Bowls will be available online only. Thus, you got to put a comma in there. Thus, not affecting your restaurant's in-person dining and pickup options. Virtual dining concepts and Bravo have teamed up to create the Real House Bowls, a virtual restaurant that delivers curated meals for hungry fans to enjoy while catching up with all their favorite Real Housewives franchises on Bravo. Super fans and foodies will adore the chef-created menu that is a perfect balance of light and decadent. Much like the Real Housewives cast, the menu features a wide range of offerings, ensuring that there's something that will appeal to the discerning tastes of their passionate audience. The beauty of working with the Real Housewives is that there are new seasons for each franchise running on Bravo Network and online throughout the year. That, along with other shows that discuss the drama and excitement of each episode, keep fans of the Real Housewives engaged year-round. And of course, the Real House Bowls will take the whole experience to the next level. Oh, yeah! I'm going to put that in my kitchen, baby. This is a bunch of bullshit. This is so stupid. And, you know, just like celebrity tequilas, it's just like a way to make a quick buck. Now, there's something to be said about the fact that celebrities are now joining the businesses themselves rather than just being like kind of tossed around from different national corporations. But in the end, the same terrible product gets to the retail consumer, and it's hilarious and terrible. That is my opinion. I wonder if I can find a Real House Bowls here. Real House Bowls.
Seems like you'd have to be able to.
I'm in New York. Come on. No, I don't see it.
No.
What about Mr. Beast Burger? They used to have it, so I'd assume they still do. Oh, it's closed. Well, here it is. All right. C-store. What I really want to show is these fries that look dope. Beast style fries.
Covered in all kinds of goodness.
Covered in all kinds of goodness. Seasoned crinkle fries loaded with caramelized onions, American cheese, pickles, mayo, ketchup, and mustard. Let me tell you, when I ordered these, they came with the fries and the ketchup and mustard. And I was like, this is not what I ordered. At the time, Uber Eats would listen when you told them, like, this is a completely different product. Now Uber Eats is like, fucking shove it up yours, okay? You ordered from a terrible restaurant. So, oh well. That's my story.
That's your story. Okay, so I guess all we have left is really to talk about Hawaii. We talked about Hawaii last week. You know, it had just happened. It happened last week. And now we're seeing kind of the aftermath of it. I think last week there was like 36 people that had been declared, you know, dead at that point. And now we're over 100, and they're missing like 1,300 people still. There's a lot of, I guess, conspiracy and rumor going on there that is kind of, I mean, it's got to give you pause. You know, they're saying the mainstream media is not telling you everything that's going on here. And honestly, it's impossible for the mainstream media to do that, because the mainstream media, to me anyway, they have to verify everything. And a person on TikTok doesn't have to verify anything. They can just tell you their own experience or their own opinions on what's going on without any ramifications, which I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm fine with that. I find that interesting. That's what I like about TikTok. But some of the things that they're saying right now, I mean, aside from it's very difficult to get the help that you need, it's a little bit of like a military state right now, where, you know, the kind of people are standing in lines to get themselves registered, basically, so they can get a permission slip or a card or whatever to allow them to even go back home, right? Yep. So that's why you're not really seeing people, you know, trying to clean up their little ash pile or anything, right? You're not seeing any of that stuff happening. because you have to get permission. And yeah, there's these long lines, and it's very slow getting through that process. People seem to be pretty upset that FEMA is only giving $700, and that's all that the President Biden is able to give, because he's got limited power with regard to that. Congress holds the purse strings. He has asked Congress for something over 12 billion. I'm not sure the exact number, but he's asked for a significant amount of money. It's just none of this stuff happens instantaneously, and it's that much harder when you're out in the middle of the ocean and not part of the mainland, getting all of these supplies in. But stuff is coming in. It's not like it's not happening. We're seeing a lot of sort of grassroots efforts where people are just doing it themselves, bringing stuff in themselves, saying, I have a pier that's still good. Pull up to my pier. We'll run it through here, whatever, which is, of course, always what happens in these natural disasters, which I like. It's like the human spirit coming alive. But some of the conspiracies are concerning, but also worth keeping an eye out for. So we found out that, we knew Hurricane Dora kind of had went by, and because of the high winds, they had closed the schools. So all of the kids were home from school, but the parents might have been at work that day while the kids were home at school. And so a lot of kids, a lot of parents are pretty strict, like, just stay indoors. You're home alone. Yeah, I didn't give you permission to go outside, and they might not recognize, hey, your neighborhood's on fire. You need to get out of here. And they might not know how to get out of there, right? So there's a lot of concern that of these 1,300 people that are missing, that it's going to be a lot of children. And when you look at some of those images of the rubble and the high temperatures, right, that there's no remains to even identify, it looks like. When you see the wheels on somebody's car that have completely melted, not just the rubber, the aluminum has melted into a puddle on the street. You're like, that's a pretty hot fire. So I guess earlier in the day, another thing that had happened was, because of the winds, power had went out, and cell service had also gone out in some places. So instead of using they had like a tsunami warning system there. Instead of using the tsunami warning system, because apparently they test that thing constantly and it's very loud, and people just ignore it because it goes off all the time. So they just used the telephone system, where you call everybody and you leave them a message and say, yeah, you need to evacuate. But power's down, cell towers are down. People didn't get those messages. So that's why there was basically it felt like no warning for the people there to get out. That's why people were just jammed up in the streets, jumping into the water, because the information wasn't getting to them. And obviously people are going to be upset and find that to be a big problem, especially if your child was home from school that day and you weren't able to get there to save them, and they probably weren't able to save themselves. I mean, that is just some soul-crushing, terrible, terrible stuff. And I don't know that there's a good solution to that situation. When power goes out and the cell towers are suddenly not working because of a storm, it's just tragic. And everybody's looking to blame somebody for a tragedy. And sometimes a tragedy is just a tragedy. But that doesn't mean we can't do better and we can't learn from this stuff. Definitely do that. But I don't know, man. I think sometimes people they just want somebody to blame so badly.
Yeah.
I probably would too. I'd probably be just so mad. I would be, Rah!
Wait, did they put on the tsunami system?
No.
Why don't you do both?
Why don't you do both? Yeah. Because if the big sirens went off, right, even though they test them all the time, would you not at least look out your window to see what's going on?
I guess that if you did listen to a tsunami system, that you're supposed to go to higher ground, which is the opposite of what they wanted residents to do, right? So that could be an argument. Now, I also imagine that if it went off and people listened, they would get out and be like, oh, that's a fire. I bet that was about the fire.
Exactly. You're going to go, I better just get away from the fire. Yeah. So, that's what I would think, that they would just look around and say, ooh, bad. Let's just get out of here. Yeah, exactly. So that certainly should be a lesson learned, I would hope. Some of the other issues is there's always issues of colonizing, and the colonizer mentality when it comes to Hawaii, right? Really, the whole way that Hawaii became a state is pretty kind of messed up. So
Yeah.
But what it seems like there is a pretty big fear, and it's kind of founded in reality, that some of these big landowners, we're talking about corporations, but we're also talking about Oprah Winfrey and these celebrities, Mark Bezos, people like that are going to swoop in and try to buy up all of this land. That, instead of people being able to rebuild, because they might not be able to afford to rebuild no matter what. They might not, a lot of these people don't have insurance. They've owned these houses for generations. They're paid off, and so they might be actually poor people, but they were land rich, at least in that moment, because they've had this property for a long time, and now they don't have that. And are these rich people going to swoop in and just basically steal all of this land from the indigenous people, even more than they already have? And turn it into condos and then all of this stuff that this particular town, Lahaina, has been able to largely avoid. There were some, but not to the level of the other side of the island. Yeah. So that's a big concern. I mean, Oprah owns like 1,000 acres of property, and she owns properties in other parts of the world as well, where there's been natural disasters, and she's kind of bought up more after the natural disaster. And people feel like she's just exploiting people in need at that moment. And, we live in a world right now where it really does feel like you've got these corporations and these rich people that are buying up houses and properties at such a level, that people can't afford to live anymore. So, and then to do it in Hawaii, where, the cost of living is like 3 times higher and people make less money there. So I think that these are real fears that are, again, based in reality. I just don't want to jump to conclusions. But it's just one of those things to keep an eye out for, to pay attention to.
Yeah.
It really sucks, man. It sucks. This is when it comes to natural disasters over the last 5 years, I think we have had, significantly more natural disasters. I think their natural disasters are up 130%, I think was the thing I saw in the last 5 years over what it's been, over the decades. And we're seeing that. I think there were like 11, actual declarations of emergency style disasters last year. 11. So, and this one in terms of the death toll is significant. The worst ever in Hawaii's history. But for wildfires, this is the most that they've ever had for a wildfire, since people have been keeping track of that kind of stuff. So I just think it really sucks, man. It just sucks. And then I think what I'm hearing, and again, it's so hard because people say stuff and it sounds weird, but because they are kind of in a state of emergency and it does feel a little bit like martial law there, and I guess they were allowing drone people to use their drones and take images initially, but now they've cracked down on that too. So it's like really hard to get information out, allegedly, depending on where you're looking. They're cracking down on a lot of stuff. And for some people, it feels like they're going to get retaliated against. Some of the people that are letting that information out, they all seem like they're really afraid to tell you what's going on and what really started the fire. Was it a laser? No, it's not a laser. Aliens didn't, laser, laser Hawaii in the middle of a hurricane to set it on fire. For what reason? That didn't happen. But some of the conspiracies are so outlandish that, what's really going on might get lost in the fray because everything sounds so ridiculous. So, I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about it other than concerned.
I have no idea how to feel about it. I have a knee-jerk reaction to the TikTokers and live streamers that take advantage of the sort of fog of war immediately after these disasters and use a pretty classic playbook in order to get attention, which is this which is sowing conspiracy and this an air of mystery. Are just very good at getting attention. I remember
so I'm not on TikTok. I haven't been on TikTok for like a year and a half now. But I remember when I was, and the Ukraine war started, and there was so much fake Ukraine war footage on TikTok that was like, but it was disturbing. It was like that it would be like some lady that was live streaming herself like she was in a closet afraid of bombs around her, and you could hear like a siren that was going off, which is always just, the sirens are mad creepy. And she's in there and you like hear in the distance every like few minutes like something explode. I mean, it was like, it was realistic. And then of course all this turns out to be fake, and you're like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this person that is like, that's profiting off this? And I fear that we're going to end up seeing a lot of the same thing in Mali. Some things are conspiracies. Right. Some things are hurricanes, and wildfires.
Yeah, and this is, unfortunately, the mechanisms to get help do not move as fast as you want them to. And you're on an island. It's that much more challenging, and it's a tourist island, and people are still showing up. And on the other side of the island, they're over there doing tourist stuff. It's like,
oh yeah, Ellie's parents had a Hawaii trip that got diverted to Costa Rica. Oh. So they're in Costa Rica right now.
I mean, Costa Rica sounds like fun. I hope they see lots of monkeys.
By the way, I think we should go to Puerto Rico. I think that we should do a little Puerto Rico trip.
We have loosely talked about going to Puerto Rico as a family trip, with my mom, my brother, and sister. So.
And me.
I mean, we'll see if we can work you in.
I mean, if it was just your brother and sister, I'd be like siblings. But now that we're going intergenerational, it's like, bring me along.
Well, my mom hasn't been back to Puerto Rico since she was a child. So,
So I can't witness that?
No, you could. But I was like, it was just one of those things that would just be, I'm not saying you can't come. We haven't even worked any of it out, It's just, but it's just a thought.
I'm going to Puerto Rico on my own, and you guys can suck it. And I'm gonna go get mangoes at that one place that Grandma said to get them. And I'm gonna send a GIF. I'm gonna send a little photo.
Did she want you to get mangoes somewhere?
Yeah. There was some fruit stand that was like where this was also when she lived there. So
yeah, she was
probably
a child.
Yeah, so probably definitely still not there. But there were these fruit places that she would walk to when she was a child, and I was like, that sounds very sick. So
there's a drink. It's an orange drink, but it's not an orange. It starts with a T. Tahini.
Tamarind.
It's tamarind. Yeah, tamarinds. And my mom, whenever she sees one of those, she gets excited. But I think they must have had a tamarind in their yard when they were a kid, and she just remembers getting the fruit off of the tree and eating it, and so
adorable.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a plan. It's a loose plan. We haven't, we have solidified nothing other than let's do this.
Dad and I are going to go to Scotland. So.
Why are you going to Scotland?
It's like where he's got genetics from.
He's got it from many places. Well, not many places.
Oh my God. I don't know.
I mean, you have a German last name. I don't know. It just feels like a...
Yeah, but last names are bullshit, It's just like, oh, who's the man up a freaking line? Ooh, this is fun. I don't care. So, yeah, I don't know. The Highland Games are on Long Island, I think, this weekend.
Are you going?
Oh, sorry. I've accidentally...
What? Everything looks fine to me.
I'm back. Hello.
You didn't leave.
I couldn't hear what you said. My Siri popped up, and so I couldn't hear you guys. Am I going? Let's see.
Are you going?
It's Saturday the 20th. God dang it. It is when we are celebrating Ellie's birthday, and there are already plans that are made.
Is it only on one day?
Well, I put it on my calendar as only one day. Let's see. Scottish Highland Games Long Island. 61st Annual Long Island Scottish Festival and Highland Games. Saturday, August 26th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Yep, one day.
Boo! Oh well.
Boo. So lame.
Man. I look at those dudes and their kilts and they're throwing logs and stuff, and I'm like, look at Colin's powerful legs. He's made for this. He's made for chucking logs.
I will finally find home. All right. Well,
yeah.
It is not what we're doing for Ellie's birthday, Barbie, if that was the implication. We are not doing the Highland Games. Did I tell you what we're doing, Mom?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll text you because Ellie is listening. So.
Okay. I mean, I could just go ask him.
You can go ask who?
You said, did Dad tell me? So I was just going to go ask Dad.
No. Did I tell you?
Oh, no, you did not tell me.
That'd be funny. Okay. Well, thank you for coming to the show.
Yes.
It was very good.
It was good. I'm sorry that the last story was a little depressing.
It was mad depressing. I'm glad you didn't do it at the start.
I know. Maybe I should have not done it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, well. The world's weird. I think that's the big takeaway. The world's weird. Everybody's going after everybody. Somebody's got to be to blame for every situation that's going wrong in somebody's life.
Agreed.
Sometimes bad things just happen, man.
Well, on that note, everyone, we were so happy to have you here. And remember, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Thank you for keeping us company. Oh, we're going to sing. We're going to sing it out? No?
Yeah. Things are happening in the world.
Every day.
Some of them are bad.
Sue.
Most of them are bad. I am a pessimist. Pessimist.
Let's go grow some sunflowers. La la la. Sunflowers. Sunflowers will make it all better.